Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we are jumping into our bullet journal setup for July. So grab your bullet journal, grab some snacks, whatever you need to, and let's get into this. The first page is going to be a doodle, and just a forewarning, there are quite a bit of doodles in this whole setup. So it's a little bit longer than it normally is. But if you haven't already been able to tell by what I'm drawing here, or going ahead and outlining, this is going to be a bullet journal based on Gravity Falls. And so I did my drawing, which I always do all of my drawings in pencil first, and then come back in with a fine liner to go ahead and color those in. And I did not go ahead and color anything in this time. I decided to leave it as pen and ink, which I do like that. I feel like the drawings always look better because I don't feel like I ever color as well as I want them to, and then I'm always depressed that they don't look as good as I wanted them to. But I am using a precision pen for this one, and it's a really old one, so most of the markings have come off of it, so I don't actually know what size nib it is, but it's something that I picked up, I think, at Michael's, one of the local craft stores, but I'm sure that you can get them elsewhere. I'll see if I can find them to link down below, but I'm not sure if they're available on Amazon or not. And I decided to do my block lettering here for July, and I decided to make the L look like it had fallen over just to, I don't know, I felt like that seemed more Gravity Falls to me than just straight up here. So moving on to the next page here, I am doing my monthly layout, and I am keeping the same type of format as I did last month and the month before, I believe, with this sort of just grid line layout. I really like it, and I feel like I've got enough space for all of the things that I want to write in there, and I don't feel like I'm cramming everything in. If I remember correctly, I think the boxes are about 6 by 6, so that can give you just a guideline if you're wanting to use a similar format. The other thing that I liked about this is that it allowed me to have quite a bit of room around the sides to do some doodling. And so in the top left-hand corner, I'm just doing the little wind, it's not a windmill, but the little wind ornament that you see. I think it's on top of the cabin. And it just says what on it. And then I'm just doing some other little doodles on here that are associated with the show, and then some of them are just random little squiggles to kind of mimic the books that Dipper finds and ends up, leading them to all sorts of places here. But it's just, I think those books always look really cool, and I always found books like that and journals like that where people could just sort of scrapbook it but have drawings and have things taped in there, and just the look of almost like a really well done smash book. I just have always loved that, and I'm trying to mimic that in a way in this journal, and I think I'm always trying to achieve that somewhat in my bullet journals. So the other thing I'm using is my little ruler that I have that has all of just the different geometrics on it, and able to do some nice clean lines and do some of these little random doodles that you see on here. Regarding the pen, I don't feel like I have as much strike through as I did with the Tiki Graphic fine liner pen that I had used last month, and so this one was really nice for that. It's also really crisp and clean, so I may end up using this a little bit more, but it's always interesting when you seem like you choose a fine liner and it's just awesome, and then for some reason you choose another one if you're like me, because you have that addiction of pens and you need to try another one, and you'll think this one is even better than the last one, and then a little bit later you try it again and you're like, no, this one's really great too. So I'll probably use this one for a little bit as well, but I'll eventually probably end up going back to switching around to another one. So just yammering here, going through here, doing the days of the month on my calendar, And I decided to go in and do the numbers as well. I didn't have a calendar in front of me, but I knew when July 4th was. And so I was able to sort of start at that point and then backfill. I could not remember for the life of me if it had 31 days or 30 days in the month of July. And so I left that one, but I knew that I had already pre-counted for my habit tracker. So that I had the right number of boxes. So once you'll see that at some point in here, I flip back and go back and fix, because it actually has 31 days. So don't get worried if you're like, oh my gosh, you didn't put the right numbers in there. I will go back and fix it. And I'm doing my habit tracker just like I did last time. I really enjoyed this habit tracker style. It's a little bit more intense to set up than the other one, just because there's so many lines and it's so much more grid style. But I just really enjoy coloring it in, and the boxes are big enough to really give you a nice pop of color. Now, I am not filling all of my icons in on the top, just because I'm not totally sure if I'm going to continue tracking some of the habits that I've been tracking. So I knew I still wanted to track taking my vitamins. I wanted to track not getting caffeine and not drinking sodas. So those are things that I definitely put on there. But otherwise, I'm going to have to decide which way I want to go. And then just doodled some floating eyeballs. And then moving on to my brain dump page here. And I really actually liked this page. It was from one of the books that they had about not letting Bill into your mind. But what I did is I customized it to myself and put in there like handwriting and bullet journaling and crafting and those type of things that related more to me. And so I felt like that was a little bit more closer to me than just having just a picture. So the next page here is meals. So again, I'm still not doing the meal plan and then recording what I actually eat. I'm just using this whole page to sort of keep track with possible meals that I can make each night for dinner. And that way I have options available to go through, and I don't feel like I have to remember and record everything that I make every night. It just gives me a little bit more freeness so that I'm not stuck to just writing in my bullet journal all the time. The last page here, and I almost forgot to do this page, is my monthly budget. And last month I called it an expense tracker, but that's not really what it is. It's really a budget. And so I'm setting it up exactly the same with the list of bills, the budgeted amount, the actual amount, plus or minus to say what I'm over or under. And I'm not going to go through and write it all down because that would just be redundant. Okay, so doing the final flip through here for June and July, starting in June with our Phineas and Ferb. Moving on to the monthly calendar. The habit tracker, which I really enjoyed and really liked using these colorful markers to color it in, and I really liked switching it up. So if you're having trouble using your habit tracker, switch it up. My meal plan, which is what I did for July as well, and I liked having this just a nice list. The expense tracker, which I named my monthly budget in July, and same things, same layout here. My brain dump for June, a notes page that I was leaving, and mainly because I didn't want to have a two-page spread, so I can refer back here if I want to jot anything down. And then we're moving on into July and into Gravity Falls, which I really did enjoy doing this setup. It was pretty fun to just do these little doodles here and add in some of the little pieces that are associated with this show. It's a really cool show, and just being able to kind of recreate my own little book is pretty exciting. I know I didn't do as much on this page doodle wise, but because I fill it in with so much colors, I feel like that really pops out for most of it. And then I'm still deciding on what I'm going to track here, because I'm going to be changing some of my habit tracking, but I haven't decided what yet. And then moving on to my brain dump, where adding my own little spin onto it rather than what you usually see in the Gravity Falls, my meal plan again, and my monthly budget, which I really like this color for this monthly budget. So that's everything, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and as always, stay tuned, give me a thumbs up, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.